This man married his sister. Yes, you heard that right. He not only married his sister, but they also have 4 children together. As if the situation weren't shocking enough, they still live together and have decided they will never separate, despite being fully aware of their familial relationship.
Kila mtu anashangaa kuona mimi naona shangazi yangu amekuja, naona wajomba zangu wamekuja. Basi na mimi nikawa najitambulisha kwamba huyu ndo mke wangu ni nini.
Lakini kwa vile tulikuwa tayari tunapendana na tumezaa wote, nilizoea tu nikaona ni kawaida, yani ile hali ya undugu sikuiweka kipaumbele sana.
I have reported on many love stories and have always been a believer in true love. I find inspiration in amazing couples, but this particular love story is truly extraordinary. But why did these siblings decide to marry each other, and why have they chosen to never separate and continue living together? In Africa and many other cultures, this situation is completely unacceptable. If we had not covered this, no one would believe that it actually happened. Some people call it madness. Others suspect evil forces are at play. But before we make any judgments, let's take the time to listen carefully to their story. My name is James Horo, and I am 34 years old. I am married to Adeline, who is my younger sister. We share the same parents, both our father and mother. For a living, I ride my motorcycle and work in farming. James ended up meeting, falling in love with, and marrying his sister, mainly because they were not raised together. Additionally, their parents and other family members never made an effort to introduce them or let them know about each other beforehand. The issue of parents not bringing siblings together to know each other resulted in a very personal dilemma for me. I ended up falling in love with a woman who turned out to be my sister, and together we had 4 children. We were unaware of our relationship until after our 3rd child was born and she was pregnant with our 4th. Discovering our real relationship was a shocking and challenging experience, especially since it felt like it was too late to change anything. The revelation came during a family gathering with aunts and uncles. When I introduced my wife to them, their reaction was one of disbelief and shock. They explained the connection between us, revealing that we were related through both our mother and our father. I had been raised by my grandmother, and after the death of my father, she had been raised elsewhere. Despite learning the truth, we decided not to end our relationship. We chose to stay together for the sake of our children, as parting ways could have a negative impact on them. We wanted to ensure that we could raise them together, maintaining a stable and united family environment, despite the unconventional nature of our relationship.
My name is Adeline Paula, and I'm 31 years old. I met James at school, who, interestingly, was raised by my grandparents while I was brought up by my aunt. Of all the men I've known and loved, James stands out for his kindness and selflessness. His priority has always been the happiness of others, and this quality deeply touched my heart. Discovering that we are related brought us immense heartache. Our minds were flooded with questions and uncertainties. Should we end our relationship? Should we walk away from each other? Should we find new partners? What was the right thing to do? Despite the turmoil and the moral dilemmas, the love we shared proved to be stronger than any obstacle. Overcoming our fears and societal judgments, we decided to continue our journey together and got legally married.
Adeline recalls that she met her husband during her early school days. What started as a simple friendship gradually evolved. They went from being friends to best friends, and eventually, they became lovers. Throughout this entire time, they had no idea about the familial connection between them. For this couple, the bond they shared was so strong that they believed only death could tear them apart. Embracing this deep connection, they made the significant decision to celebrate their love by inviting their families and organizing a wedding. This move came as a shock to everyone familiar with their story, as it was an unexpected turn of events. The news of their wedding spread quickly, sparking a wave of surprise and disbelief among friends, family, and acquaintances. Many people who had known them for years were taken aback by the decision, finding themselves grappling with a mix of emotions. Questions began to swirl in the community as people wondered what had led to this sudden change of heart and how the couple had overcome the challenges they faced. Amidst the celebrations, there was a noticeable undercurrent of skepticism and criticism. Some voiced their concerns openly, questioning the wisdom of their choice, while others whispered doubts among themselves, unsure of the couple's future together. Despite the joyous occasion, the air was filled with a sense of uncertainty, as many awaited to see how the couple's story would unfold in the face of public scrutiny and personal challenges.
I believe no one, not even our neighbors, would blame us because we were unaware of the situation. Although we continued to love each other, it was challenging for me considering how long we had been together. My approach was to set the romantic aspect of our relationship aside and concentrate on strengthening our family unit.
She thinks that if they had discovered this information before having children, they would have ended their relationship and possibly moved away from each other. However, the presence of children meant they chose to stay together.
If we had known this before having children, we might have considered breaking up. But once we realized we already had children, we understood that separating wouldn't solve our problems. Instead, we knew we had to protect our children and do everything for their benefit. Our biggest worry is how they will react when they find out about this one day. We are also pondering whether we should be the ones to tell them the truth openly.
What makes this couple unique is their resilience and how they continue to support and treat each other as equals. As one person said, the important thing is not to worry about falling, but rather to focus on getting up and moving forward every time we fall.
Yeye kwa kweli yeye kazi yake ilikuwa ni kulia tu. Kuweza kuongea kitu chochote. Baada ya kutulia,
we were both shocked, but it was my wife who felt it the most deeply. She spent days crying, and comforting her was not easy. She was so affected that she couldn't speak, and it seemed like she had lost her sense of self. It took her some time to recover, and during that period, we spent a lot of time thinking about our next steps. Ultimately, we decided to stay together and made a firm decision not to part ways. As we mentioned earlier, we didn't know much about our parents. Unfortunately, we were also deprived of the chance to grow up with them. We feel that missing out on our childhood has left a void, and because of this, we are now doing everything we can to support our parents and provide them with the care we never received. Another challenge we're facing, aside from our situation, is that we don't know many of our relatives. This is a significant issue for us because currently, I can't name more than 5 family members. This lack of family knowledge scares us because our children might end up forming relationships with our relatives' children without even realizing their connection. However, we are determined to prevent this from happening and will do everything we can to ensure it doesn't. Today, the man confidently states that he has no issues or feelings of shame. He openly declares that both he and his wife are innocent, and they intend to maintain their happy life together. Similarly, the wife is in good spirits and strongly believes in the importance of educating children early on. She thinks that providing information and guidance at a young age is crucial to prevent the kind of unfortunate events they experienced. This approach, she feels, can help in safeguarding the future and well-being of children, ensuring they do not encounter similar situations.
Ninachowashauri jamii inayosikiliza ili kuepusha.
Personally, I would tell families watching us that if they are fortunate enough to have children, they should always come together and make sure that many relatives know each and almost everyone in the family. This can help avoid the kind of problems we faced, leading to a happier and more fulfilling community.
This family shows us how strong and important a united family is. It tells us that parents should raise their children well and relatives should keep in touch to avoid making the same mistakes as James and Adeline. This story is very sad and complicated. But if you happen to be in their shoes, what would you have done, or how would you have handled their situation? Please share your thoughts and let us know in the comments below. I am Simon Greenwood, and this is Afrimax English. Please remember to subscribe.